So I'm at the Detroit Auto Show, or the North American International Auto Show, and I start speaking to this woman, and I say, "What do you do?" She says, "I take spy photos." How cool is that? And I see your pictures all over the internet. So how did you start being a spy photographer of cars?
Well, I started the most unlikely way. I was a mommy with two kids in the back seat, and I spotted a car at the local grocery store parking lot. Went home, got my camera real quick, went back, took a picture, and it ended up on Automobile Magazine in the States.
So did you say, "I'm going to send it to them and see if they could use it"?
Well, I thought that maybe somebody might be, interested in it, and it was a pretty good photo. My husband came home from work and looked at it, and he knew exactly what it was, and so he made the first phone call and sold the picture.
What was the car?
It was the 1994 Mustang,
So you've been doing this a while now.
about 15 and a half years.
So this is now a career?
It moved probably within a year and a half. It was a full-time career. I was very lucky.
Like the RCMP always gets their man. Do you always get your car?
Eventually I think we do. It might take a day or two or a couple days, but I think we always do.
So are you taking all the pictures yourself, or have you now gone to the point where you hire other photographers?
I have a network of photographers around the world. I have freelancers in Canada, lots of freelancers in America, and we have about 12 spies in Europe right now.
Is the Nürburgring in Germany a hot spot?
It's a very hot spot. The only problem is whether we're at the Nürburgring or wherever we are. Like right now, I have several people in Sweden. All the spies from all the agencies tend to be in the same place at the same time. So we kind of trip over each other.
You're like the car paparazzi.
It's an awful term, but that's exactly what I do.
What do they think of spy photographers?
It depends who you talk to. It's pretty much a love-hate relationship. The PR guys love it. The engineers that are out testing the vehicles want to keep the vehicles secret, and they don't like us too much.
What was the hardest car or truck to take a photograph of?
Boy, that's a tough question. None of them are easy. I've been assaulted a few times. My son was almost run over by a car at one time. So sometimes it gets a little hostile. But, the Toyotas and the Volkswagens, they're pretty tough to photograph. They keep them under wraps. They won't unload from a truck if you're around. Sometimes Chrysler's pretty difficult as well.
Do you sit and wait and wait and wait? Is that the job?
For hours and hours and hours. Or if we see something, we follow it. And we don't know if we're going to follow it 3 miles or 300 miles.
Now, where you live really dictates what's available too, right?
Well, it does. In Phoenix, we have many, many proving grounds currently. We have General Motors. We had Chrysler. They sold recently. But there's Volvo, Toyota, Nissan, Volkswagen, and so on. But most of them are actually leaving Phoenix because it's just too crowded, and they're going to more, rural places.
So is this something you're going to do for a long time?
I don't know who would hire me after I put industrial espionage on my resume.